You amongst kings from both far and near land. Made in my image, son of God, son of man. You came in the spirit, for I am that I am. Father of all worlds, fallen angel in the land. Faster than the blinking eye is the master and I. Face to face, fighting my case so we debate. Where? Counting on my sins, where do we begin?
June-matic, representing QUNY, USA worldwide. Ken Brisbane, the game is sold 9-tone, Newburgh, New York, rapping.
Yo, it's Troy Whitty, you know, from out the Bronx, New York City. 8 million stories, here representing 4HorseMen. BX, all day.
This is Big Zuhaf, representing Phoenix AZ by way of Nigeria. You know what it is.
Alright.
Like, what would be the end game? Is it after all the grind, after getting all the money, after doing all this? Yeah.
That's a lot of us. Honestly, we're talking about well, for the people that I was speaking to, it's a different end game for me. My end game is different than, let's say, someone who's 20 years or 30 years. My thing, for a lot of these people that have been on the 40 plan all this time, their only viable end game to live a quality life into their retirement on that fixed income that's right around the corner is to get themselves a piece of the pie someplace else cheaper. Me, my end game is I can start a business now. I can work 20, 30, 40 years at building my own right here and other places. But they're at the end of their end game. We're talking about some people that are 5 years away from retirement and are very risk-averse. They're not about to invest in a business. They're not about to do things of that nature. They're not risking their portfolio at this point. So with that being said, I'm like, well, you already know what it is. Buy land in your country. You don't have to worry about property taxes, permits, and the bullshit. You know what I mean? Eat your fresh coconut water and your mangoes every morning and enjoy yourself. And you know what I mean? And die with dignity. Because on that, living on 40% of what you made, which was barely enough to get you right while you were here, is not dying with dignity. So get rid of your, Western proclivity.
Like I feel it's crazy you said that. Like I'm kind of torn between it because I see what it is here. Like in me, in my mind, the end game was leaving. Like for me, immediately, and just having that 1 foot here, being able to come back and visit, and with all the stuff that I worked out. But for real, it's leaving because history's showing that like this country ain't for us. You know what I mean? Like it just, in my eyes, it's just overrun with so much shit. Like. They go to such great lengths to make it that it won't happen. And like even trying to get us to see that is like such a task. So it's like, do you work on that a little bit and just leave this shit totally? You know what I'm saying? Like but while I'm here, I'm always trying to preach that awareness, like what you're talking about now, the group economics and getting stuff. But my end game always in my mind was being somewhere else because this shit is just madness. Like really what I see, like hate to even be negative, but it's just what I'm seeing. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a downward spiral the past 30 years, really the past 15 been like accelerated, kind of like other places just don't have the shit that we got going on. We don't have those worries.
You know, in the Freemasonry concept, you have Hiram Abiff, right? And when the ruffians kill Hiram, they hit him in 3 parts. His head, his throat, and his heart, right? The Americas have 3 parts. North, Central, and South. One of the big secrets is the majority of brown people you see here were slaved on this land, not somewhere else. So, part of the reason why you know what it's like to, like your African parents have a different mindset. June, your parents have a different mindset. They see America as a dope spot. So they come and burn this motherfucker down and keep it mashing. My parents is a little different because we are Hiram. We're from here. We're not from nowhere else. We're from here. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the key is, from my perspective, Africa, Haiti, they're not my home. America's my home. That's why we can't find nowhere. That's why our phenotype is hella different. You know what I'm saying? That's why our skull is hella different. Because if the European got a recessive gene, there's no way that his blood would scramble my shit like that. Because after generations, shouldn't I get my hue back? You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't I get my African phenotype back, my West African phenotype, after a few generations removed from a recessive gene? So that's the little secret. That's the little secret right there. So my end game always been, yo, burn this motherfucker down and get the stepping, because America has created a nigger factory. Period. It's about what America will be in 100 years will be the prison population. The people that live here produce the goods for the rest of the world. So the same shit that we see in China and India, that's gonna be America. America's gonna be producing all the goods for the rest of the world, because it has to flip like that. We've had all the shit. So juxtapose that 100 years from now, it's gonna be a damn wasteland for niggas doing life in jail. All the world's criminals is gonna come to America to do time, right? So we already see it. It's time to be Swayze.
People have been saying this for a long time. Oh man, it's coming, it's coming. The black president did 8 years. Shit's been crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's never been like this ever. So these next 8 joints is coming, wherever it's gonna be. Is it gonna affect niggas on some, you know, massive scale like it's never been, or is it something that we still have some time? The white supremacy, the imperialism is global. Is there really a place where niggas is safe? Let's be honest, because everything is based on hues. It's no longer, oh, you're from America. You could be from anywhere, but if you're of the wrong hue, there's still certain, barriers that one must, basically overcome to get anything done. So, is there a promised land?
I go where my dollar stretch. And I go where the opportunity is.
What about Mexico? That's down the street, and the dollar stretch.
My thing is, I go where my dollar stretch out there. I go where the businesses have the least amount of permits for me to open up something. I go where my dollar can stretch where I can buy the most land on the cheap, and I'm close to the heat and the ocean. So for me, my end game is always by the water, pleasant temperatures, and what I call a sympathetic business environment where I can open up a little something, deal with expats and international people, and commiserate and make some things occur. So for me, I'm not with all the rigmarole and the red tape that I like. Opening up a business in NY. Open up any little thing in NY, I gotta go through more red tape here, and then I gotta deal with a winter, which I'm not really fond of anymore. You know what I mean? I'd rather spend my winters somewhere on a beach. So for me, I'm always thinking warm climate, brown people, cheap land, sympathetic business opportunities. So those are like, I use a certain rubric for when I'm, globe plotting, just like I like to call it. When every time I leave the country, I'm always plotting to see if it meets up to my measuring rubric. You know what I mean? How much is my dollar going to flow? You know what I mean? From different incomes and revenue streams. Can I own something plush, very close to where I need to be comfortable? It don't have to be, I ain't got to be marble cake floors, you know what I mean? But it's got to be, I got to be comfortable.
Well, good.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, fresh food, things of that nature. So for me, the promised land for me is when it reaches my certain rubric. No place is perfect. It's all about what's ideal for the individual. You know what I mean? And for me, that's how I make my rubric. Going back to the islands, for me, certain islands, like I can't go to the Caymans. The Caymans is off the chain because it's pricey. It's a European island. You know what I mean? But certain islands that I know, certain parts of Haiti I know, you know what I mean? Certain parts of South America that I know, you know what I mean? And then I still have yet to explore the great continent of Mother Africa and see what's popping over there. Because I've always said, once I go there, there's a very good chance I ain't coming back. So that's why I kind of saving that trip. But it's about able to. I don't have the patience to deal with the red tape, funny business. You know, a crib in Southside Jamaica, Queens is $500,000. Okay, Southside Jamaica, Queens. That's not $500,000 pesos. You know what I mean? That's not $500,000 won. That's 500,000 Americans to live in G-Unitville. You know what I mean? You don't want to live over there if you don't have to, truth be told. You know what I mean? So that's 500,000. So, you know, with the scarcity matrix that the Americas are in, where they cause so much depravity, where in scarcity that you only have a certain amount of places that are ideal to live. You don't have a housing crisis. You have a desirable housing crisis.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you got half of Jersey is torn down, half of Michigan, Detroit is torn down. All those big, beautiful colonial homes torn down due to segregatory practices. So it's like, yo, you're leaving me with these little expanses of land for $500,000. You want me to spend $500,000 to live over here? I can go back to Haiti and have a Tony Montana joint for like $200,000. I'm out. You know what I mean? It's simple economics at that point.
A lot of black Africans move to South Africa. They out there like some successful businessmen. They move out there and like the land is going for the low. And out there, it's almost like I don't want to say reverse racism because there's no such thing. But that's our land, so the black people getting everything first, loans first, housing first. So you know the little bit of white people that's out there, they basically niggas out there. Like literally, you seen it, right? Yeah, I seen it. There's a couple of different businessmen. It was 3 that I can remember off top. But one dude is with his wife. Yo, for 150 racks, this nigga living like, I mean, I can't even call him a nigga pop, but this dude lived in some other type of shit. You told me, I mean, he had waterfalls in the background, like pool, sauna outside, shit, open air, open. He was like the definition of living. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, this house cost me to build $150,000.
Wow.
You can't even get a house in New York for $150,000.
Nah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and mind you, and he's not pleading with it. He's like, make his case like, yo, black. He's like, you watching this? Young and you black, I'm telling you, come here. Like, come here. Man, if it's gonna be anywhere, it's gonna have to be the dark continent. Or somewhere where people was dark and they know it, and we like, so what? Like, this our shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way it's gonna be a thing.
So, I mean, is Africa truly the future? Should Black America?
Weird Chinese moving in there, they know something we don't.
These are facts. Let me ask this. What role does gentrification play in black people or you know, blacks of America taking flight? Because that seems to be what's in play right now. Gentrification is the silent weapons for quiet wars.
Bro, when I tell you, and I know June know firsthand because we up here. Yo, do you remember the 90s? You know what I'm saying? Yo, downtown Manhattan, what Manhattan has turned into from what it was when I was little, it's some shit out of a movie, bro. It's unreal, and it's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of the lessening in the crime, because shit, wow, like it was a zoo. But like now it's like, but it's probably the safest place on earth, G. Like literally, like, and it's occupied territory. Don't get it twisted. It's police trailers everywhere. There's cameras. There's big brothers watching. Real, like this is the template. Like downtown New York City is the template of what they want the whole country to be. Because you can't, there's not a block, there's not a building, there's not a corner way, a crevice without a camera. So that helped a lot with the gentrification too, because they snatching dudes up off the street for nothing. Especially with that stop and frisk shit. But yo, like my neighborhood alone where I grew up is like, I wouldn't come outside certain nights because I knew what it was.
I was just in Oakland, and it's the same thing. Like, you see hipster white cats walking with their dogs and shit, not a care in the world. We're talking about known strips that used to be the whole stroll back in the day. It used to be white people walking teachers. A nigga in South Africa may not have had that, right? We've had access to Bob Marley. We had access to Dr. York. We had access to real estate moguls, businessmen, fucking entrepreneurs at the highest level, high science niggas that spoke 10 languages. There's no excuse because we've had access to shit that the rest of the niggas around the world have not had. So, if our hoods got gentrified, I cannot say that this nigga is elite and supreme because we didn't practice restraint. Period. You can't blame the white man for crack. We had to use it. You can't blame the European for heroin. We had to use it. You can't blame the European for our mating habits. We had to do it. Yo, it's a lion and a deer. We are in nature. There's no difference between the way we interface with nature and the way that a frog interfaces with nature. He has a predator. He has prey. He has shit he hunts, and there's shit that hunt him. He doesn't call his enemy elite though because he got caught slipping. You feel me? We know what the fuck to do. I know how to eat. There's no reason why I got a pimple on my face, and Elijah Muhammad already taught us how to eat to live. Queen of Fool already taught us how to eat to live. There's no fucking excuse. You know what I'm saying? We can't go around calling this nigga, bigging him up, bigging the boogeyman up. We give this nigga too much props. Well, all we gotta do is practice restraint. Well, we don't do it unless we go to jail though. We become an elite nigga all of a sudden. Yeah, my niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing workouts every day. You know what I mean?
Also, too, like, I agree with you. Like, it's not an excuse. That's why I get frustrated with a lot of cats that still sleep or, like, they pretend they sleep, right? But we can't ignore the concentrated effort, like the think tanks that these white supremacists, I'm not saying they supreme, but they dominate the planet right now. That's just what it is. They sit around and the most intelligent of them think of ways to keep niggas from not doing what you just said, from finding out about Noble Drew Ali, from finding about where they really from going to the juice bar, from eating right, because they being bombarded with so much other stuff. Now it's something in us right here, all three of us, where I feel like it was something a little extra that brought you to where you are now mentally. You know what I'm saying? Because we was in and amongst all that shit, but for whatever reason, we didn't subscribe to it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't go down the path other dudes chose. We knew a little more. We had a little bit of more, like intuition. But it's easy to fall into the experiment. Like, the projects is called the projects for a reason. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put a bunch of these people here that don't necessarily know anything. They don't even know we attacking them. You know what I mean? Like, they totally oblivious. And like, to reference your jungle point, you know what I'm saying? The deer ain't gonna say the lion is supreme, but at least he knows he's coming. He's built to fly. When this shit was happening, when they set this shit up, niggas ain't know. Most of them didn't know, rather. You know what I'm saying? It's by design. It's all by design. And once again, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, but it's a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's a reason for a lot of that shit because they go hard to keep niggas dumb. They go hard, bro. Like, look at they took over our music. They seen how progressive it was becoming. They seen what was happening, and they shut that down. They seen the free food out in Oakland on the west where y'all at. They shut that down. Like, they go hard when you're doing the right thing. Anytime you try to spin a positive male black image, they fear that. You know what I'm saying? And they come at that stronger than ever. So they'll kill you broad daylight just to prove a point because that fear is in them because they fear you just being yourself. Like,
if we get our crib gentrified, again, we can't escape this fact. We've had master teachers.
Right.
Master.
We had master deceivers.
Hold on. Of course, because calamity exists. We have free libraries. Free. You can check out movies. You can do everything, right? Okay. But I want us to really look at that. Like, we have master teachers, right? A child soldier in the Congo get his arm cut off, right? He experiences trauma, right? Generationally, right? But he had no master teacher. But he comes to America, and given the opportunity, he thrives, right? Okay. Same thing with a person from Syria that has felt the military might of the United States, right? But when we misbehave, and he comes to America in New York and thrives. When we misbehave, though, we attribute it to something generationally that happened to our ancestors, right? That we may have not experienced it and call it post-traumatic slave syndrome. You know what that is? That's called welfare conscious. Because we have a fucking problem being real accountable. Everything that ever happened to me, I put myself in jail. I got caught. When I got caught slipping, I got caught slipping. You know why? Because I had Elijah Muhammad's book, The Fall of America. I got Noble Drew Ali shit. I got Amos Wilson. I got all the people that came to do the work. So if you honor your ancient mothers and fathers, you don't end up like that. So if we get our shit gentrified,
we lucky. We few. Cause I got, when my people, matter of fact, first moved to Yonkers, I came out here, I was fucking with the young cats out here. They never heard Malcolm X speak ever. I had the Oxford debates on CD just because that's what me and my pops listened to, like. So I'm sitting there listening to it, and my man, he like, yo, this Malcolm X? I'm like, yeah, he sound like he talking about right now. He never heard he had no concept, he didn't even know this was a thing. Like, yo, I can hear Malcolm X speak. You know what I'm saying? This is a dude 20 years old, like, you don't know shit about shit except I need money. Like, and that's the shit too, niggas, when you need money, all the other shit goes out the window. You're not thinking about it, you're thinking about food, fam, and they made it to where you're thinking about food before you can even think about your health. I gotta get something in me and then figure out if it was the right thing to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
from a continent that people starve to death. No one starves to death in America. You cannot starve to death in America.
Yeah, but
you didn't starve to death in America, but kids do.
People do go hungry out here, bro. It's what it is.
Detroit, look at Detroit, and like you were saying, like with the you can't make it an excuse, but what you were saying, like how Zoo, his people's being from Africa, and June's people being from Haiti, they see this shit like the trap spot. It's like, even with I won't restrict it to blacks. Look at the Asian kids and the Indian kids. Their parents is in there from young over their back. Listen, you're gonna get these A's, you're gonna go over there, you're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna come back and get this chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they see a different us here. It is that welfare shit. It is that slave mentality. It's super hard to break. Now, the shackles were almost broken in the 70s, and what happened? You had COINTELPRO. You had motherfucking, they knocked niggas off. Malcolm, Martin, Stokely, gone, whoever, Medgar Evers. They just straight murder. Then after the murder, in comes the drugs. Like you said, you don't have to use the drugs, but we're not the only ones using the drugs. You know what I'm saying? That's a human issue.
Real shit.
That's not exclusive to black people. Like, there's a crack issue in China right now. That's fucking crazy. So wherever you put cocaine, people gonna use it. You know what I mean? It's even the farmers that farm the shit, they just built off of it so it don't drive them crazy. That's what they do. But the rest of the world, they sniff that powder, they go nuts. So they knew that shit. These think tanks knew that shit. We're gonna give this shit to these black people and see what happens. Put all these guns, make them hungry, you know what I mean? And then see what they do. They're not gonna do much. And if you do come out of that shit, like, kudos to you. You know what I mean? Like, shit is crazy, bro. But like you said, I'm not giving people a pass because the info is out there. For whatever reason, nobody forced me to be the way I am. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, it happened that way. I chose to be right.
I'll give you a perfect example. I was on back in the late 90s, I went to a Harlem housing forum when they were trying to give out loans and whatever to renters, minority renters in Harlem to buy the brownstones. And this was like mid to late 90s. I was trying to get my people to get their paper right so we could do that. And there were so many Harlem residents that were upset at the rising cost of housing in Manhattan, in Harlem, and we can't afford to be here. And this lady was an older black woman, beautiful woman. She was about 55, 60 years old. She was like, everybody shut that shit down right now. Let me explain something to y'all. In the height of all the bullshit that was going on here in the 80s, I told you to the property. All of y'all thought I was crazy. I said, buy Harlem, because at the end of the day, Harlem isn't Harlem. Harlem is Manhattan. Okay? There's no difference between 109th Street and 110th Street. You know what I mean? Bobby Womack spoke about across 110th Street. That's an important distinction. Because when you get on that train, 109th,
Waterline, bro.
109th stops, the white people, boom, the train is left. Straight melanated people on that train. You know what I mean? It's the illest experience you've ever seen, ever. It's one of the illest things I've ever seen, truth be told, in my life. It's being on a train, going to Harlem, 109th, everybody, white, black, Chinese, everybody. 109th, 109th Street, boom, ding dong, flee. Like this Ebola on the train, or anthrax, or sarin gas.
And if you see a white person or somebody not black, pass you looking at them like they crazy, like yo,
they crazy. Oh. They either a crackhead or they holy.
Word, like
either a cop or a cop or both. So the thing is, the great antidote that's been played is that we've learned to devalue ourselves and we've learned to devalue our neighborhood. So we're quick to leave. Like, black people forgot that Harlem was Manhattan. No matter how much crack was on the street, no matter how much heroin was on the street, Harlem is Manhattan, one of the most powerful cities on the planet. Manhattan's lights shut off, everybody's lights shut off. Stock market crash, we sneeze, everybody getting pneumonia. That's how it works. Controlling fashion, entertainment, stocks, finance, what have you. So with that being said, all of those people didn't want to buy in the 80s. All of those people didn't want to buy in the late 80s. All of those people didn't want to buy in the mid to late 90s. All of a sudden, here comes the dog parks, bicycle lanes, the dirty bearded hipsters. Now you want to be Harlemite. Now you want to be Harlem. Now they open up the restaurants and cafes. Now you want to be Harlem. Okay, you didn't want to own Harlem before. So a lot of it has to do with how we value. When there's blood in the streets, white man buys land. Period. He could look at you mean a white. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, a white man, when I go through my hometown in Latifah, Haiti, and I go through the European hospital, Albert Schweitzer Hospital, how was it there? The white man got his machete out, chopped down the trees and saw opportunity. Oftentimes we get in our own way when it comes to opportunity. We don't see it. We undervalue our opportunities. Like a lot of my Caribbean people that don't want to go back home. They're like, oh no, there's nothing back there for me. Meanwhile, I go back to a plane to Haiti and there's 30 black people and 300, Europeans that can see the value past everything else that's going on because it's their system. So we're undervaluing what we have. They see the value of what we have, and then you have gentrification. There should be no way that white people should be in Harlem. They should, at the end of the day, they should be having to triple the amount of money they spend to give it to a black owner to be able to own Harlem, or Bed-Stuy, or Brownsville, or downtown Brooklyn right now, where black people have been living there for over 55, 60, 70 years. But because we never valued it enough to own it, there's not an ownership matrix in place. We have a renter's matrix, a leasing matrix, an undervalued matrix. So in turn, you know what I mean, they could come in and just buy up the land, buy up the stores.
Like you saying, dude, what I think about like the gentrification, what he's saying in Harlem right now. My aunt, she live on 124th, right on in between 5th and Madison. The Lennox Lounge is around the corner, iconic spot. It's closed down, burned down, everything. Right on the corner, right. Yeah. I wouldn't walk down that block by myself back in 98, 97. This recent, you know what I mean? That's yesterday. Right now, you can go 3 in the morning, you see white women walking their little dogs outside with not a care in the world, bro. Like, not a care in the world, which they shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like seeing it firsthand, like growing up in it, seeing the plan. I'm pretty sure there was a plan, like they let New York go to shit to come in, like to say what June was saying on, like to buy all that shit up. They seen what was happening, they just sat back and let it go to shit. The niggas cut it off, passed them RICO laws. Next thing you know,